In this video I want to look at the question of awards in unfair dismissal cases. I'm looking at a report there this morning on Twitter of a Labour Court decision where the employee was awarded €262,300 compensation. Now clearly that's tied to his salary, and his salary was very large. He had a top executive position. I don't know the exact details of the case. I do know that he appealed the decision of the WRC adjudication to the Labour Court, and the employer also appealed it. The employer probably appealed it on the basis of the award from the WRC, and the employee may have appealed it on the basis that he wanted to be reinstated rather than compensated. But in any event, the Labour Court has held that the appropriate remedy for the unfair dismissal is an award of €262,300, and the Labour Court must consider the needs of the employer as well as the employee, which includes considering whether the employee had held a senior position or not. That's a sort of an eye-catching case. Obviously, unfair dismissal awards generally can range from nil to 2 years' salary. That gentleman obviously was on a big salary, and I don't know how many months or weeks or how the compensation was calculated, but obviously it's a function of his original salary. And if he was on a regional salary of 250 grand plus, perhaps bonuses or commission or something, and he only won 12 months of an award, well then obviously that's the $250,000 that we're talking about or more. But there was another case there. I wrote a blog post about it on my website, or I've made reference to it on my website, Employment Rights Ireland. It involved a diver and a limited company. I think it was based in Cork, and the employee actually won the unfair dismissal claim on the basis that the procedure that was adopted by the employer wasn't fair and failed to afford natural justice and the constitutional right to fair procedures and so on. However, the adjudicator awarded a nil award to the employee because the adjudicator agreed with the employer's contention that essentially the employee was engaged in activity which was tantamount to blackmailing the employer with the way that he approached the situation. In other words, he wasn't going to go and do the work in Dublin at short notice unless he got an increase in salary or something of that nature. There was some demand like that, but the employer made the argument in his submission that it was blackmail and he wasn't falling for it or going to submit to it. And the adjudicator actually agreed with the employer to the extent that the adjudicator did find that the employer did unfairly dismiss the employee because of, as I say, procedural errors, but made a nil award. And then at the other end of the scale you have this situation where this gentleman was awarded €262,300, and then you have the maximum award, which is 2 years salary. So obviously that will depend on your salary, how much you're going to get or how much you'll be awarded, but the maximum is 2 years salary. That's provided for in the Unfair Dismissals Act 1977, and I haven't seen 2 years salary being awarded too often, but I have seen it happening, and I have seen it happen in where the employer treated the employee in a most egregious fashion according to the decision maker, the Employment Appeals Tribunal or the WRC or whoever made the decision. That was an award for 2 years salary. So just to circle back to the original purpose of this video, looking at awards for unfair dismissal, they can range from nil to 2 years salary, and the redress for unfair dismissal is set out in section 7 of the Unfair Dismissals Act 1977. And just a note on that, redress will include 2 other avenues open to the adjudicator when a case comes to be decided, and those remedies would be reinstatement and re-engagement. So there's reinstatement, there's re-engagement, and there's an award of compensation, financial loss. And financial loss then has a specific definition in the Act, and it is calculated, basically includes any actual loss and any estimated prospective loss of income attributable to the dismissal, and the value of any loss or diminution attributable to the dismissal of the rights of the employee under the Redundancy Payments Act 1967-73 or in relation to superannuation. So financial loss has a definition in the Act, and the maximum award is 2 years salary, and that's really it. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate if you gave it the thumbs up down below, and if you are interested in this sort of thing, or indeed in Irish law or business, you may be interested in property, you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thanks for that.